I honestly can't remember how I stumbled across this short movie, but my god am I glad I did. Very quickly, if you are new here, I do like to cover off those movies that get less talked about and less reviewed. One for myself and recommend on to you guys. So please do hit subscribe to see more coming out. But that being said, let's get on with the review. The Karman Line. So I will say right off the top, I'm not going to spoil this for you, but there's a link to it down below. You can watch it for free and it's about 25 minutes long. So whether you want to watch this first and then go and watch the Karman Line or vice versa, I cannot recommend that enough. To sum this short movie up in one word would just be it's fucking beautiful. Well, that's two, but one's for emphasis. So what is the Karman Line? I'll answer that in two ways. The literal Karman Line is that line where Earth's atmosphere ends into space. And what is the Karman Line here? We're following Sarah, played fantastically by Olivia Colman. She has a way of just bringing a human element to like everything that she does, regardless of how ridiculous it might be. Now Sarah, in the opening minutes, we see that she's just at home, her daughter Carly comes in, and they seem a little bit distant, not in a bad way, but just in that way that a teenage daughter might be. But then suddenly she falls ill. Not in the way you're expecting though. She has this condition where she just begins to float. And it's quite weird to explain, so the longer that she has this, the more she floats. Now it starts off just like a few inches off the ground, but the longer that she has this, the further above Earth that she starts floating. It's not subtle, it's very clearly a kind of discussion around illness and losing somebody, because they're literally losing her. I mean, she's flying away. It doesn't matter if it's obvious, it is done so fucking well. Yeah, the dialogue might be around their mum floating away as opposed to having some kind of terminal illness, but that doesn't take away from the conversation being an exact copy of a conversation that unfortunately some of yous may have had. And I'll be honest, this movie struck a chord with me. I've lost people incredibly close to me. Just some of the scenes in here, and I know it sounds ridiculous for someone that floated away, but fuck, it got you. It really does. And that is just a credit to the dialogue and making it feel real. And also that there's the cinematography. There's a slowness to this short movie, a kind of stillness to it. What adds to making this feel real is that her doctor comes in, so we've got Sarah who's off the ground by a few centimetres, and they're just talking her through what's happening, and it is a conversation around kind of being diagnosed with a terminal illness. You know, they're telling her that she's just going to continually float. They're asking all the questions you would expect. You know, what can they do for her? How can they slow down this process? Unfortunately, there's not something they can do. They can weigh her down, but if anything, that might just hurt her more than slow down the effects. And while she's floating more and more off the ground as the days go on, we see the impact it's having on the family. Very realistic impact here, where the daughter's struggling with her dying mum essentially. You know, Sarah's physically so healthy and that's not changed, it's just that she's getting higher and higher. And the husband Dave, well, he's struggling with losing his wife, and Sarah's confined to kind of just one vertical trajectory now. So this begins in the living room, so she kind of only goes up from there. You know, she's not floating around the house. So we start to see the kitchen getting neglected because, well, the husband and the daughter aren't there to do the housework the way that Sarah does in the opening of the movie. You know, Dave and Carly struggle with just living in home now. It does have some elements of humour though in it, because when they realise this condition is just going to continue, they start putting in shelves, and you can see that only the top two are getting used, and they have to drill a hole through the ceiling so that she can kind of float through. But she ends up in her daughter's bedroom that way. She's just kind of at a steady level the whole time. And then we see on her daughter's floor all the things that Sarah needs. You know, she's got crosswords, she's got her biscuits, she's got everything. But of course, as this goes on, she can only go higher and higher. And this is where the Karman Line comes in. You know, the way they've done this is by giving her a timeline. It's not down to how long the illness will take her over and kill her, but more how long she has left until she reaches that Karman Line. And that is the way they discuss the kind of terminal side of it. This is a short movie about all parties accepting death, accepting losing a loved one. You've got Sarah who's accepting that although she's the one going, she's still losing her family. She's getting further and further away from them. And then on the flip, the impact it's having on the husband and the daughter. Their relationship is straining. You know, we see a few more beer cans lying around than we should. You know, I don't normally do short movies. I've never thought I would review a short movie. But just after watching this, it's fantastic. And the ridiculous concept of an illness that just makes you float, you totally buy it in this movie. And that is a credit down to, of course, the writing here. But it's Olivia Colman. I've seen her play, you know, real people, but I've also seen Things like this where it's a ridiculous concept, but she has this kind of humanity to her. No matter the circumstances, the way that she reacts in these scenarios, there's just that level of humanity that she brings, and that's what just hits you so much harder with this movie. Look, I don't want to say too much more because this video will end up being longer than the Karman Line, but I would highly recommend it to anyone. Please go and do watch it. It's not a full length, it's about 20 minutes long, so you've definitely got time for it. What would I be saying for this? If you've not guessed already, it's getting the top tier that I can do, and that is just change your plans for this short movie. It's 25 minutes long, so you can even watch it potentially on a commute to work. If you've had some bad food the night before, you could watch it on the toilet. You can watch this in so many places. But as I said, the link to it is down below, and I would want everybody to watch this. But have you seen the Karman Line? Please do let me know down below if we agree or disagree, or if there's just anything else you want to add into this that I may have missed. And thank you for making it this far. If you haven't yet, please do hit subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching.